news. This week has just been kind of a crazy week. I ended up helping a friend do some cleaning at the beginning of the week and got into a weird conversation with one of my neighbors who, in my opinion, was way too emotionally connected to the conversation to for it to it just seemed strange that they were so emotionally connected to the conversation. And like I told them after explaining my situation about my sheriff Neil Gross and what happened with Owen and what happened with that gas station and what's been happening and being terrorized by people in my neighborhood and them trying to constantly talk me in just to hey cognitive. I just basically told them I'm not just gonna take it up the butt. They're not just gonna do what they want to me and I'm just gonna take it. I'm not doing that. And it ended up making them mad because I guess I'm just supposed to take what's being dished out to me. That's why I titled this. Sometimes, no matter what the cost, you have to fight back, you know? And generally, when you have to fight back, it's the powerful you have to fight back against. And so it's, and I sold a bag this week. So, no, abusers do not like for us to stand up or expose them. And I don't care. You know, the whole thing about it is that, like I've said, had Geo Farnsworth and Daniel Dowd not, had they not gone out of their way to let me know they were in town when Owen perished, I would have never figured it out. But they wanted credit. And so now I'm giving them credit, and now they're crying like little bitches, saying, oh, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. But you realize that I was documenting the shit through videos at the very time that it was happening, you know? And at the time, you all seemed like you were all, you know? And the moment I uploaded my logo to my Google account, the internet shut off. They don't want any of us talking, and the issue that they seem to be having is that there are now a lot of us talking. Send me the link, I will. And if you're not crazy and you're talking normal stuff, I'll even promote you, you know, because I don't know who you are. I just don't openly promote stuff anymore because I used to just think people were cool and just promoted their stuff, and then sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, you know? You have to wait till I'm done. Unfortunately, it is so hot here. It's the in-town thing said it was 96 degrees, but it's well over 100-degree heat index. This weather is awful. And make sure that everyone is drinking a lot of fluids and stay out of the heat. When it's over 100 degrees, maybe going for a hike is in the heat of the day is not the brightest thing to do. And I read this article where Greece, people are just dropping over dead, but then everyone they explained were just like, oh, well, yeah, they went for a hike this time, and then they went for a hike for that time. You get overheated, your brain stops working, and then you don't know where you are. It's the same thing as if you're in the cold, you know? Once you start getting hypothermia, things don't work right. It's not worth the Philippines too. Yeah, the weather is bizarre everywhere, but that's because we're being inundated with those solar flares. And the polar caps, the magnetic poles are starting to switch. They've been in the process of switching for a while now. It's happened 180 times before. It's not a weird, unheard of thing. The unfortunate thing about it is that right now we're being inundated with all of this gamma radiation and this heat, and what protects us from the sun is the magnetic field around us. And now the magnetic field is so diminished that we're just getting pummeled with this heat and all of this gamma radiation. Just come back, cognitive. And you know what I'm talking about when I say thank you, you know? Oh, God. They're just... I get tired of fighting with them. And I did not find it a coincidence that she, and we're talking about Tara Joyce Randolph, because they said the rabbit hole chick, she needs Jesus. I did that video saying they were going to make me drop over dead because they tried this week again. Oh my God. Whatever they were beaming into my head felt like it was just cutting my brain in half. It was just cutting out parts of my brain. And for the first time in a long time, I was back to dizziness and nausea. This happened when it first started happening out in Seattle. I would fight nausea and dizziness, but this week it was back. And I wasn't sick. It was their shit. And it was bad. That's why I wanted to do a live stream this week, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't sit. You would have sat and watched me in a stupor because I was having a hard time forming words. It was really scary. I was not so afraid they were going to make me drop over dead. I thought they were going to give me a stroke and I would end up, you know. But God saw me through it. And then afterwards, I get told the same thing. They'll continue to do it, but it won't have the same effect. When I've gotten spiritually, when I journey, because I've gone over and asked why. Why does this keep happening? Why do you need me to go through all of this? And what I get told is everything that I'm going through is just being channeled into the dark. And when they end up in the dark, the atmosphere, my living environment that they have made so pleasant for me with their fucking toys, is waiting for them. And my worst day will be a daydream compared to what's waiting for them. Because the darkness gets to tweak it and put the full wrath of heaven in there. But I know their souls don't exist. They don't believe in souls. They believe they're going to live forever. And there's no life after death. That's, I guess, what they believe. And I guess if you want to believe that, go ahead, you know? It's stupid, but go ahead, believe whatever you want. But I do this. They didn't like the fact, because when I did those videos this week saying I was just going to end up being another dead guy to all of this, that video that day, right after that, is when Tara Joyce put that thing that I just took screenshots of and then put it up. Fuck. Again, they want credit. They want to do all of this shit. But then when you give them credit, then they whine like little bitches. And then they don't like it, you know? But they had no clue what they were getting involved with my sheriff. I didn't have a clue what I was getting involved with my sheriff. The drug thing is well known out here, is well known. And they're idiots out here. They're idiots like this group that I'm fighting that's connected, the Dead Eyes at Cappy Club, they're idiots. They brag about everything because they think they act with impunity and no one can call them out. So they haven't hidden anything. All of their shit is just out for people to find. If someone starts to investigate it, they'll figure it out. And Leonard Peltier heard of him, Native American activist from American Indian movement in the 70s. He's been in prison for being there during a shootout where FBI, etc., shot at them. 2 cops dead. He was framed. Hey, Sherry. Um, I don't know what it is about the Native Americans. I don't know what their focus is on Native Americans, but they are totally focused on Native Americans. You know? Yeah, it's an extreme crime. You know, it was interesting because one of my best friends, he was like a brother to me. He ended up unaliving himself, but he was embarrassed by his Native American background, his ancestry, and I couldn't understand it because it's such a rich cultural background. You know, our languages, our traditions, yeah, they want to destroy those. I also think that your Native Americans have a lot of prophecies that seem to be coming true. Yeah, they put you in boarding schools, and then in Alaska, you just disappear. Well, that's the same thing here, too. Nebraska, they just released a thing. The missing indigenous people in Nebraska is like 2 or 3 times higher than everybody else. They're just disappearing. And nobody even looks at it. Nobody even cares. You know? It's frustrating. And let me tell you, I was frustrated this week because I wondered if any of this was all worth it, you know? And then when it came down to it, and I questioned my faith this week, you know, could I have gotten myself into this and been wrong about God and wrong about all of that stuff? Leonard Peltier is a boarding school survivor too. Yeah, just like Shirley Oaks in the UK. Notice how they never talk about Shirley Oaks. It was a boarding school. It was a group home for kids. They'll talk about Hampstead and those 2 kids, and those 2 kids are abuse survivors. It's just that everyone surrounding them are bad guys. The good guys and the bad guys. The dad is a bad guy, but so is the mom and her boyfriend. Bad guys. They're all working for the bad guys. And they use the Hampstead case like they did McMartin in the United States. They went through McMartin and then suddenly, oh, anyone who talks about the stuff is crazy. But they don't talk about Shirley Oaks because Shirley Oaks has what now? Close to 500 survivors who have come together. It's pretty easy to attack when one of us is alone, like them attacking me. That's pretty easy to do. But how the fuck do you go and tell 500 organized survivors that they're all suffering from false memories? Which is insulting. How would any of you react if someone came to you and told you that the things that you were traumatized by didn't happen? They're false memories. You don't have a clue what reality is. What you remember is false. You know? Just like they're saying this Havana syndrome. You know what causes the Havana syndrome? Mass hysteria. That's what they're saying. So our embassies are full of people who are inclined to mass hysteria. That says a lot about our embassies then. You know, it says a lot about our embassies if they're only hiring people who can be affected by mass hysteria. You know? Yeah. They're bad, all right, cognitive. They are all bad. Yeah, you're from the UK, but you never look up Shirley Oaks. They don't talk about Shirley Oaks. Shirley Oaks is a big deal because they can't close Shirley Oaks down because it's bringing survivors together, and it's been going on for years. So they don't ever talk. They'll talk about the Hampstead case. It'll be all over. Everyone knows about the Hampstead case, but no one knows about the Shirley Oaks case. Well, of course nobody knows about the Shirley Oaks case, because you know who was involved with the Shirley Oaks case? The Catholic Church, just like it was in Omaha. You know, the Catholic Church that has lost untold amount of money because they were raping kids and hiding it, you know? He isolates now because of the gang stalking. Yeah, you have to. And great, so I go out and make friends. And then they target him and either get him to join them or take him out. That's how all this stuff works. You can't have anything in your life. You can't have people. Jeanette Archer is known in UK. Okay, I don't know who Jeanette Archer is. But all of the people, all of the cases that get lots of media attention and a big focus is all bullshit. You can almost count on them all being bullshit because it doesn't work that way. He's here on YouTube. I will look him up. The other thing too, it got brought up to me in an argument from a friend of mine who's not even in this country. And I just want to make something clear. It is true that I am outspoken. I am not a Trump fan. I'm not. His dad was in Hummel Park. I'm not a Trump fan. But it's not an either or for me. I don't like Trump, but Biden, I don't like him either. He's connected to the Clintons. He was Bill Clinton's vice president. No, they're all involved with this. Let me point out, everything that happened, they started talking about all of this stuff, this spirit cooking and all of this stuff that they were involved with and Podesta and all of that stuff because they thought that it would destroy Hillary. But what it did was that it fed people and people became concerned. So then we were given Pizzagate. Pizzagate was CIA. It was meant to distract and discombobulate. It was meant so that when people focused on Pizzagate, they could say, these people are crazy. Look, they're crazy. Cheryl Beck, again. There are people, it's not like I am world-wise and know everybody on the planet, you know? I don't know Cheryl Beck either. Jeanette Archer, SRA survivor, you know? There has to be more of us. It's just that the problem that I have is that they reach out and then you find out that they're nothing but sponges. They want to learn everything you know, and then they go after you and try and destroy you. That's what my first experience with that was Franklin Files. You know, they were all, they're survivors and they're going after this child trafficking. And they were my best friends for a while until they weren't. And they didn't like what I was trying to expose. And then suddenly they came at me as a whole. If they have a whole team of people around them too, chances are you better question, you know? But really when it comes down to it, discernment is really important in life, period. Learn to discern, you know? Learn to discern. Don't take anything at face value. That's what they don't like about me, because I'm not asking anybody to take me at face value. Just look at what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying, look into it. You know? That's what I've asked investigators. Don't take me just at my word. Go look. I'm not just talking out my butt. Jeanette Archer exposes the royal family at Windsor Castle. Good. Because does anyone remember that little young naked boy climbing out the fucking windows? You know? And that happened in the UK with the royal family. Why was there a naked, and the kid was like 12, 13 years old. Why was there a naked boy climbing out the windows of the Windsor Castle? Because that's where I think it was. You know? Yeah, I think lots of people went into shutdown and denial over Pizzagate. Because then we had Pizzagate. Well, Pizzagate just fueled it. It didn't make it go all away. It just fueled it. And so then we had QAnon. And QAnon, again, another CIA. Anybody who actually looks and is associated with QAnon, automatically the whole of the population looks at him and goes, oh, you're crazy. The last thing I heard about QAnon is that they were drinking bleach in Texas to cure COVID. And I find it interesting that they have to basically discredit an entire group of people who found child trafficking to be a concern and wanted to do something about it. But now they're all considered fucking crazy. And all of the liars, they're the only truth tellers. Corey Daniel, aka Phoenix Enigma, Thomas Schoenberger, Tara Joyce Randolph, Daniel Dowd, I think his name is Bruce Trimble. I know the last name is Bruce Trimble. Gabe Hoffman, Craig Sawyer. They're all involved in nefarious bullshit, and yet they're supposed to be the ones that everyone trusts, even though most of them have freaking rap sheets longer than my arm, you know? But they're the honest ones. They're the ones telling the truth. Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth couldn't jump up and down fast enough to take credit over Owen until I started to make an issue out of it. And now they want to say that the shit never even happened. They never sent me emails. They never posted shit on YouTube. They never did any of this. And I'm the bad guy for fucking pointing it out. But I did it in real time. That's why they don't really contact me anymore, because I'm doing it. All I end up doing is taking screenshots of their bullshit and showing everybody. This is what happened to Tracy Twyman, this guy she used to collaborate, named Kyle. He was friends with the Higher Side Chats. He turned on her and she would. And she wound up dead afterwards. Yeah. Isn't Tracy Twyman the one who was trying to investigate this and ended up committing suicide in her garage, even though she was telling people she was terrified? You know? How many dead people are connected to all of this? That's why this week, when I did that video and said, I'll just be one more damn dead person involved with this. One more dead person involved with this. There's, what, I can count 10. Tracy Twyman's one of them. Owen is one of them. Not to mention Isaac Cappy. And how many dead people can be associated with this group and it's not considered coincidental anymore? You know? Yeah, they mess with your son. They mess with anything you care about. It's the reason why they put my dogs out. They put my dog out in the heat because they were expecting me to come home. Yeah, I'll name the dead. There are plenty. And you guys know them too. Start saying, because right now I'm having a hard time. I've mentioned, as you guys put them out, I'll call them out. Because their names, there is power in their names. There were a couple people who just died of heart attacks. That's the other thing too. They're using their freaking toys. I'm 29, I have no children yet. Well, I'm 57, going to be 58 this year, and I have no children. And was around a child at the beginning of the week. And I wasn't even in charge of the child, and told my friend I'm exhausted just being around this kid exhausts me. I'm a grumpy old dude. I'm not a big fan of kids. I am, in very short stints, if their parents or whoever's taking care of them are right there. But otherwise, you know, Don't call me to be your babysitter. And that's the reason why people laugh, because the Dead Isaac Cappy Club will tell it. Tory Smith, another example. Tory Smith, who was calling out Pence, who was saying he was being attacked by these weapons that they had already come out and told Congress that they had, and they were using them on American people to show the rest of the world they were safe. But he was crazy, you know? We need to do it more as a collective. We do. I agree. We need to do this as a collective. There needs to be more people, and that's why I do these live videos, because I know that there's a lot of things that I either don't know or have forgotten because I've been at this for so long. And that's why I really appreciate these live views, because you guys bring up stuff to me that I'm able to say out loud on these live videos. Name the dead, connect the dots. Isn't it funny, though, that the Native Americans that are disappearing, who end up dead, you know, it's just, I don't watch the stuff of Tory Smith because it ends up depressing me. Because the dude was begging for help and didn't get any. Isaac Cappy, in the end, was begging for help and didn't get any. When they came and got Lori King, drove 2.5 hours to get her and bring her to their house, Amber Volatin, just showed up out of the blue at Lori King's house. Sent her husband to go get milk or something at the grocery store. While he's gone, they load her up in the car and drive 2.5 hours. This is the same weekend that the second conference of the Ivory Garden Survivor Conference was going on in Seattle. It was the exact same weekend. And what they did, she just figured there was, Lori King just, if you listen to Amber Volatin, who bragged about the shit, Amber Volatin just started feeding her painkiller pills. And Lori King overdosed. And Lori King just took them. But that's because I figure Lori King was, no one was going to help her. You know? She figured, screw it. Screw it. That's what a lot of this, and that's what they want to do. And that's why they don't like me. Because I'm not saying screw it. I'm saying, fuck them. I ain't fucking doing what they want me to do. I had to do that when I was a kid. Those days are over. I don't do that shit anymore. They can't tell me what to do anymore. And trying to connect me, you know, Thomas Schoenberger is always trying to connect me to Tara Joyce Randolph. And Tara Joyce Randolph is always trying to connect me to Thomas Schoenberger. That's their game. Because it's an either or. But for me, it's not an either or. It's the same thing with the presidential. If Biden and Trump are the best America can do to offer up for president, we're fucked. We're fucked. If that's the best we have, then I don't see how we can make it. Because I think they're both just feeble and old. And they all do and say the craziest shit. You know? Sorry, it's 1,000,000 degrees. And so, but I don't like any of the politicians because they serve the system. They serve the system. And I was told in the conversation that I had that becoming political will lose me support. But when they're trying to convince you that any of their politicians are going to save you, they're lying to you. They're lying. You know, we're in a spiritual battle right now. Spiritual principalities. And the people who are in power, they all serve the system. That's what they do. And they're not good. Not a one of them. You know, there's 2 times that I have not voted in my life as an adult. The first one was when Obama was running against Mitt Romney. The best thing about Obama not being president now is you can say you don't like him and not just have people automatically say, well, you're racist. Didn't have anything to do with his color. He's a slick oil salesman. But Mitt Romney, I actually shook that dude's hand and looked him in the eye and realized that dude has no soul. Mitt Romney is soulless. And so I didn't vote. I didn't vote for either one of them. The last time is when Trump ran against Hillary Clinton. And I was living in Washington at the time, and everybody in Washington, there's too many people to vote. Go stand in line so everybody votes by mail. And so I got that thing, and I had it on my desk, and I was looking at it. And I looked at it for a good week and a half. And what I decided was that I didn't hate my fellow man enough to vote for either one of them. And so I just threw the card away. I didn't vote. And then we all know Trump got elected, Hillary lost. My sister was a rabid Hillary Clinton supporter. And she was mad at me because I wouldn't go to Seattle and march for Hillary Clinton. And my sister ended up getting mad at me because I told her, first of all, it'll be a cold day in hell before I take a bullet in the ass for that bitch. Never. And then I followed it up by, if I had voted, I would have voted for Donald Trump. I would have. Because Hillary knew how everything works. She would have had us in martial law so fast. I didn't want Hillary Clinton, and I figured, well, Trump, he's better because he's an idiot. I've always thought he was an idiot. Before he was ever president, before he was ever our humanity's new messiah, where everybody follows him and he's the chosen one. I didn't like him before that. You know, I don't see how someone who's lived their life in antithesis of Jesus Christ and the 10 Commandments can be the chosen one. I just don't get it. And, but I would have voted for him over Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton, oh my God, couldn't stand that bitch. You know, could not, because I had not forgotten about the whole Podesta files. Because remember, that's how it all started. All the shit that was coming out with Podesta and the spirit cooking and all of their weird ass shit that was coming out. And then all of a sudden you had Pizzagate. Well, Pizzagate didn't work because then someone went in and shot the fucking place up. And people realized it's really hard to have child trafficking in a basement of a pizza joint that doesn't have a basement, you know? No, you won't get any notifications. My numbers on YouTube is just, didn't Hillary want to sacrifice a chicken to Moloch? Hillary Clinton has done more than sacrifice fucking chickens to Moloch, you know? She's done a lot of shit and a lot of evil shit, you know? The whole Clinton kill list. I know it gets just, you know, yeah, chicken is a code word. Because that's exactly it. They're killing kids. You know? That's what this whole, what do you think happens to all these kids who are getting trafficked? You think they're ending up in Never Never Land? You know? WikiLeaks. That was it. WikiLeaks. And look at what they did to Julian Assange, who was trying to expose the shit. You know? But they're all bad. Huma Abdivan, something like that. That's who was doing the spirit cooking. You know? But then you have the spiritual advisor to Trump, who just got busted for having sex with a young woman, but that young woman was 12. 12. And that's okay. None of it is okay. None of it is okay. Choosing evil is still choosing evil, no matter what the fuck you choose, whoever you choose. It's still choosing evil. You know? And they all lie. They all lie. All over the world, they lie. Our leaders lie. They're all about power and control. Marina Abramovich, that's what it is. Marina, that's who I knew. Huma Abedin and Abramovich. Abramovich was a spirit cooker. Wasn't Huma, wasn't she connected to Podesta? Wasn't she the wife of Podesta or something? I thought she was connected to Podesta. You know, but we don't talk about any of this anymore because Hillary advisor, that's just it. She was a Hillary advisor. But we can't talk about any of this anymore because it's all false information. That's what they'll say. It's all false information. Just like talking about, I can't post anything about these directed energy weapons on TikTok because they follow me. This group follows me and will get me, they'll get me strikes because they say it's misinformation. It's misinformation. So if you don't believe their whole, okay, well, the Air Force came out in 2006 and said they had these weapons in Congress and they were going to use them on the rest of the world to show the rest of the world they were safe. And there are all kinds of people, because Tory Smith is not the only one. Let me remind you of the shipyard shooter in 2012 who carved ELF on his rifle before he went and killed, 11 people? Because he said he was being tortured with low microwave frequencies. And it's just, you know, see, that whole Muslim Brotherhood, not that I'm going to go live in the Middle East anytime, but I don't necessarily, we don't need the Muslim Brotherhood to come and take over our government. We have enough white bread Americans who are more than willing to sell their souls to do the same fucking thing. You know? And I mean, perfect example. Agenda 21. That hasn't gone away. You know? And who runs with Agenda 21? All of our rich, like Bill Gates. You know, everyone looks at Warren Buffett, oh, he's the oracle. He made so much money when the rest of the world was losing all of their money. It didn't have anything to do with the fact that the dude was smart. It had everything to do that they were trafficking kids, both in Omaha and Houston at the same time. Not to mention all of the cocaine that was being shipped in to Offutt Air Force Base from the Contras. That brought him in a lot of money, you know? Did you name someone I can add to the list? I haven't talked about any more dead kids or dead survivors. Max Spears, Aquinos, you know. The only reason why they don't take me out like they did Isaac Cappy is because they're afraid that it will give me the credibility that they so desperately do not want me to have. They want to convince everybody that I am paranoid schizophrenic. But just because you don't like what I'm saying, that you're emotionally connected, Max Spears, that's what I said, Max Spears, you know? They will tell you how they measured the black shit coming out of his mouth. They know exactly how much. How did that even fucking happen? You know? How did they know? And there was no black shit. I did the first interview with Vanessa, Max's mom. Max's mom told me that when she got Max's body back, his phone was waterlogged. It was destroyed by water. And I asked her, and there were problems with the autopsy that had more to do with drowning than all of this weird, oh, he was being inundated and it made black stuff come out of his mouth and all of that. Because Vanessa had an autopsy done on Max, and none of that shit came out, you know? But you don't hear Tara Joyce Randolph, who's all things dead Max Spears. You never hear the shit coming out of her mouth, you know? Yeah, the autopsy was done way after. Way after. But still, autopsies, shit, they can do autopsies 20 years down the road and still be able to figure out shit. You know? But it's just, Lori King is another one that you need to add to your list. I am passionate because I've had to deal with this for years. I've just lost my best friend 5 months ago because they came into town and murdered him. And that's one of my friends. David Klotz, that's what started this. Well, no, actually what started it is when they killed that little girl whose dad came to find us when I was 10. And so, Laura Kane, I don't know who Laura Kane is, and I don't believe in lizard people. I don't believe in lizard people. I don't believe that we're being controlled by aliens from outer space. I don't believe any of that bullshit. I think that it is Luciferians who want to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they want to make it as crazy as it seems, you know? And Lori King needs to, oh, not Laura Kane, Lori King. She was a co-founder of Ivory Garden. But Pat Goodwin took that over, and Pat Goodwin was not a good person. You want to know who the baddies who are running all this stuff now? Go look at the Ivory Garden. Colin Ross, bad dude. Allison Miller, bad. The whole collection of them are bad. And what they do is they run these we're having a weekend seminar for survivors. Oh yeah. They want to drag you in so they can find out all about you, so they can target you when you leave. And that's what ends up happening. Neil Brick and his SMART conference, you know, there's an investigator, I forget his name, but he was investigating the connection between Neil Brick and Lucian Greaves, Doug Mesner, aka Doug Mesner, founder of the Satanic Temple. Because what was supposedly happening was that the Satanic Temple was sending people into the SMART conference because the easiest people to get involved with sex trafficking are women who have already been trafficked for sex. It's easy to get them to do it again. And so, you know, they did that in the UFO community. Yeah. Because what ends up happening is that they get people who have issues, and then they feed them, and then it becomes this big spectacle, and then it gets discredited. That one person or that one event or that one thing gets completely dismissed. They focused on McMartin, that Mike Aquino was involved with, but notice how they don't ever fucking bring up Presidio. The daycare at the Presidio in San Francisco, where Aquino lived, who was totally involved with the Presidio. But no one ever talks about the Presidio. We only focus on McMartin and Ted Gunderson and all of that other bullshit that everyone was fed for so long. It's like Noreen Gosh. The case of Johnny Gosh is going to be solved any day now. Any day. There's new information. It's going to be solved every day, any day. We've only been hearing that for what, 40 fucking years? You know? So when does someone clue in and realize that it's all bullshit? That they're just John Bonet, another good example, whose parents, chances are, were involved in the cult. You know? You vaguely heard some of these names. Dude, you are a baby. I'm not saying that insulted, but you're 29. You know? There's a lot of stuff I'm sure that you have not heard about this whole situation. Me, being older than dirt and having been involved with this my whole life, you know, yeah, the John Bonet, and funny how they didn't do anything, how nothing ever happened. Isn't it interesting how that works, you know? But then when you think about John Bonet, then you look at it and think, oh, well, child trafficking doesn't exist. It was the family. Well, yeah, it was the family. That doesn't mean child trafficking doesn't exist, you know? Several things can exist at the same time. I need to learn more. The thing is, dude, the fact that you're even looking into it and even care, you're light years ahead of a lot of people. Because a lot of people, not so much the people who come in here and watch me, because a lot of you, oh yeah, well that's because the Mormon church, you should hear the stories here in Utah. That's because the Mormon church is heavily, heavily involved. Let me give you a little story about the Mormon church. I lived in Council Bluffs. We had Mormons all around us. I lived in Council Bluffs for 10 years. Never had a Mormon come to my door in that whole 10 years until I was getting a divorce from my partner. The minute was getting a divorce, they descended upon me. And I followed for a while because they were very supportive and I needed the support because I was isolated. You know, I was isolated. The divorce was destroying me. But in the end, they wanted me to give them 10% of my disability check, and I already wasn't making it, so I could wear their weird-ass magic underwear that had Freemason symbols on it. And when I found out that Mormon underwear had Freemason symbols all over it, I told them to take their underwear and shove it straight up their ass. I wasn't fucking wearing underwear that had Freemason. I'm not wearing anything that has Freemason symbology all over it. That's and you have to wear their magic underwear to get in the temple. You know? It was just, I was not impressed. I did, when I was out in Seattle, get baptized Mormon. But the missionary that was baptizing me told me that day, I didn't even think you were going to show up. But I wanted to be baptized underwater. It was really important for me to do the full emulsion because I had grown up Catholic and the little oil on my forehead, for me, just didn't cut it. I wanted to be put underwater. And they're finding fertility issues from certain clothing and underwear. You know what the interesting thing, do you know who the biggest group of meth heads are as a whole? Mormon women. Mormon women are the biggest meth heads there are because they're expected to have all of this energy. They're expected to do all this shit. You want to know where we're headed with the no abortion, women need to shut the fuck up and stay pregnant and cooking in the kitchen and serving their man? That is what women get treated like in the Mormon church. Women can't go into their stupid temple, you know? And I'm sorry, babe, I love my mom, and I am a mama's boy, and I do not find women inferior to men. In fact, oftentimes, quite the opposite. I think women far exceed men in so many. They are finding fertility issues from certain other things too, they are. Cult, cult, cult. Exactly. That the thing about the Mormon Church is that every last Sunday they have Testament Sunday. And so nobody speaks. Everyone goes up and talks about how God is working in their life. And as soon as they're done, everyone finishes with the same thing. I believe that Joseph Smith is a true prophet of God, and that the Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ is the one and true Church of Jesus Christ. They all said it every time they testified. I testified every Sunday because I was out in Seattle and God was working heavy in my life. But I never would say, first of all, Joseph Smith saw God in a field all by himself who came down as a being of light. Jesus and God came down together. Well, if he was a being of light, my question was, well, isn't Lucifer Morning Star supposed to be a being of light? That's why they call him Morning Star, because he's light. And then Joseph Smith was giving these gold plates by this angel Malachi. I've never even heard of an angel called Malachi. Gave him these golden tablets that nobody has anymore. They don't even exist anymore. Because after Joseph Smith deciphered them with seeing stones, then the angel Malachi came back and for those of you who do not know the Book of Mormon, what the Book of Mormon is all about is after Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross in the Middle East and he was resurrected, he came to the United States. Maybe that's what they have against the indigenous people, because the Mormon Church is convinced that Jesus Christ came back to America before anybody other than indigenous people lived here. And I don't think that indigenous people, when we came here, they weren't really aware of Jesus Christ. So I don't understand the whole concept of Jesus Christ coming from the Middle East, dying in the Middle East, to coming to America, which wasn't even America at the time. And it's a cult. It's a cult. And I didn't understand why Jesus Christ would give these plates that had to be deciphered with seeing stones. So you had to use occult bullshit to decipher, and you didn't have a problem with that. You know, there was no problem at all. And let me also point out about the Mormon Church, the FBI and the CIA, the two organizations, especially the CIA, which are the devil's, they do the devil's handiwork, they're all top heavy with Mormons. Juxtaposition One is a bank auditor who is an amazing, honest opinion. I've heard of him before. Oh yeah, the what is that planet? It's a special planet, Kolob. Kolob. You get planet Kolob. You know, Jesus is way more chill than any fake Christian. Exactly. And Mormon not mourning. Right. I got it. I was not. Organized religion, as far as I'm concerned, has a tendency to be bad. It attracts people who want power. Just like politicians. They want power. You watch our politicians, we're screwed. You know, it's funny, Jesus drank wine all the time. I don't know if he smoked blunts, but why not? He was drinking all the time. Shit, he was turning water into wine, you know? So it wasn't like Jesus Christ didn't know how to party. That's just all I'm saying. It was all about love, but was also not against having a good time. And so all of this, Jesus, the way they present him now, especially modern day Christians, it was like Jesus Christ had a stick up his ass. That's how they explain it. And that's not the largest NSA establishment is in Utah. Yeah, I do not trust David Icke. I do not trust David Icke. I think he is another gatekeeper. I think they have him out as a disinfo agent. I don't trust him. And he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Just like that Jessie Cezabar or whatever. I don't trust her either. She seems to like be a know-it-all. She knows everything about everything about everything. You know, how the hell were you involved in this cult stuff, but you know everything about everything about everything? Because it's not like they explained what they were doing or why they did it when we were kids. You know, the EU has been going after him. Yeah, but the problem is you can't trust any of that too, because it's all controlled opposition. That's what it is. It's controlled opposition. They're not really going after him. If they were going after him, his life would be like mine, or like Isaac Cappy's was, or like Lori King's was. You know, they make our lives fucking hell. And they screw with my numbers on YouTube. The other day, I had 5 likes, but 0 views. How the hell, again, is that even possible? So I don't even trust the numbers on there anymore. They just don't want me to get a lot of numbers because they don't want people to actually listen to what I have to say. And yeah, they're trying to take me out. The water wasn't safe to drink, and she's, well, I think it was a lot safer to drink than it is now. You know? Let me tell you, I ain't going into no river and drinking out of it anytime soon. Shit, I won't even swim in it. William Cooper. I've heard of William Cooper. You know? And again, discernment. All these names that are being thrown out. Use discernment. Don't just take everything at face value. Question all of it. And that includes me. You know? That includes me. But I've been thinking about it and realized, you know, the thing that they hate about me? And it's not that I'm trying to be, I'm so great or I'm so ego. I think the reason why a lot of you are in here listening to me is because I'm like a breath of fresh fucking air. Because no one is telling the truth anymore. It's all bullshit. But I'm telling the truth, and you can hear the truth has its own resonance. You can hear truth when it's being said. And I don't know what to believe anymore. Well, realize that we're in judgment. And fill your hearts with love. That's what you need to do, is fill your hearts with love. Love God, love everyone, all you can. That's the big thing that you need to worry about. Because not one of you in here, I think, is Rambo, any more than I'm Rambo. You ain't going to go out and stormtrooper and save a bunch of kids, you know? And, yes, man, I was told Government Corp Watch that exact thing about how I like coming to your life. The thing about it is that there's a lot of people, all I'm asking is for discernment. Listen to what I have to say. You don't have to agree with everything, because I'm not going to be walking on water. Kevin Annett. I've heard of Kevin Annett. I don't remember much about him, but I've heard of Kevin Annett. But it's no. Kevin Annett is not a good guy. Again, same shit. Is going out there acting like he knows everything. Kevin Annett and I have had dealt with each other, because I've dealt with a lot of these people. Because a lot of these people throughout what has happened while I was trying to do all of this stuff is that a lot of the bad guys have tried to associate themselves with me. They've tried to jump on my bandwagon because they'll say, well, see, David Shurter agrees with me, so I'm a good guy. And I don't play those games anymore. Because usually what was happening, it was the bad guys. That's the reason why, at the very beginning, Corey Daniel tried to crawl up my ass at the beginning. Before he realized it wasn't going to work. He tried to crawl up my ass. And he exposes the royal family. Well, be very careful, because the royal family has yet to be exposed. None of them has yet to be exposed. So when they're saying that they're exposing people, but no one's getting exposed, then you have to wonder why and where the discrepancy lies. You know, I'm calling people out. Whether or not it's having an effect or not, I think it is, because they're acting like idiots, you know? And they're acting like idiots. So I think that I'm making leeway, but they're also, since I've gotten on here, that shit is so loud, my brain is like cutting it in half. That's the reason why you guys are saying, oh, well, he's so, you know, I have so much passion in what I'm saying. But some of the stuff that you're seeing right now is that the shit they're doing to me hurts. It's torture. It's torture. They are torturing me right now, right in front of your eyes as they speak. Because their shit is hitting me so hard. Because they want to shut me up. They never thought I'd go after my sheriff. They never thought. But my training with a Kino, you go after the weakest link. That's the best way to go at it. You go the weakest link. Kevin and Ned is a Canadian dude. Canada is heavily involved with all of this bullshit. Justin Trudeau, heavily involved with the child trafficking bullshit. They can't be in the positions of power that they are without belonging to the system. It doesn't work that way. The system doesn't allow any of them. Why are they so scared of you if you call them less than? The thing about it is that they're scared of me because they don't like the fact that people are actually listening to me and I'm telling the truth. And they don't want that. They, again, Tara Joyce Randolph, she put her thing, not my rabbit hole. Probably the only honest thing that bitch has ever said in her life. Because it's not her rabbit hole. She's leading you down all kinds of rabbit holes that will go to nowhere. You know, you'll be spinning around and spinning around and spinning around and spinning around until you get tired of it or you get bored. And I've experienced targeting for decades. Yeah, I understand that. You know, Max Spears said that these weapons you could get used to. And when he said that, I thought he was fucking mental when he said that you could get used to these weapons. But the hag, it's exactly what I call it, because she is the definition of a hag. And then you look at her, and she fits that very definition. It's just like Daniel Dowd. The reason why I call him the Goblin Dowd, because if you watch the movie Legend with Tim Curry and Tom Cruise, and that, the little goblin dude that works with Tim Curry as the devil, isn't it remarkable how Daniel Dowd looks just like that goblin dude? You know? And Daniel Dowd just put out a video. I never watch his shit, but I click on it because I want to see if they're just writing stuff that I can take screenshots of. And I got a screenshot of it. But I didn't kill Owen. Well then, dude, why were you trying to take credit? Fuck, you went out of your way to take credit for it. Now that I'm giving you credit for it, now suddenly you whine like a little bitch. You know? SRA UK survivor being connected to the people who are around Jimmy Savile. Tara Joyce did that. Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy Savile. Another one. Everyone knew. Oh yeah, Tara Joyce is telling everybody I lie. But she tells the truth. Look at what she's done her whole career with all of this. And look at what I've done my whole time involved with this. Who's accomplished more? She can say, well, I'm getting my Bachelor of Arts. Well, bitch, I wrote a book that was nominated for Book of the Year when I published it over this stuff. You know? Gary Glitter, another one. Yeah, exactly. And I lost custody of my 3 beautiful and brilliant children. I survived. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Oh my God, that's the reason why I'm glad. That's the reason why I think God didn't want me to have kids. Because they know that's what's going to hurt you the worst, is taking away your kids. So what do? They send their guard dogs in. Child Protective Services, who lies, goes in. Fuck. Parents who don't deserve this shit get their kids taken away. And then you have fucking people who have 15 fucking kids. They're fucking strapping them down to the goddamn bed. Child Protective Services is involved, but the only reason they get out of it is because a 15-year-old broke out of the chains and went to a neighbor's house. And the neighbors got involved, and then they busted all of it. You hear stories like that over, and the only reason why I say that is because something came on my YouTube about it. And so Tara Joyce is just, I think she's mentally ill. That's what I think, she's mentally ill. And unlike this group, I don't target people I believe are mentally ill. I don't target people. She is telling people I'm fucking calling her. First of all, I don't even have her number. Second of all, I wouldn't call her. If I was going to harass people, fuck Thomas Schoenberger. I have his phone number. Glenna, I have her phone number. Jules, I have her phone number. If I was going to fucking harass people, wouldn't I harass the people who actually have gone out of their way to fuck with me? I would think so. Tara Joyce she wants everyone to think that I am focused on her. And I'm only focused on her because she's an idiot. And the shit that she says, I mean, if you believe her, then go. I mean, okay. Epstein. Epstein was just what happened after Franklin. And if you think there's not another fucking Epstein out there, you're kidding yourself. Because they don't quit, you know? Alanis Morissette just came out and said she was raped by pedophiles before turning 18 in the music industry. Yeah. And notice how that remarkable singer doesn't have a career anymore. They're all child rapists. Oh, really? And they're all doing the same thing that P. Diddy did. They have cameras everywhere they go. And they set people up constantly. Oh, yeah, I know a lot about the Freemasons. The Masons, yeah, heavily involved, along with the Catholic Church and the Mormon Church. I mean, the Mormon Church, they're so heavily involved in the Mormon Church, that's what makes their magic underwear magic, is that it has Freemasonry symbols all over it. And then they were mad at me because of my background. I told them I ain't fucking wearing your weird-ass underwear. I am not wearing your weird-ass underwear. They have a Freemason area at Forest Lawn Cemetery where they were cremating and burying the kids. And they have a Freemason area. It's very uncomfortable to go to. Pentagrams on every fucking tombstone. It's like you're in an area that's just worshiping the devil. Sorry, the sun is just coming through the windows. It's like 1,000,000 degrees. Yeah, because when you're abused as a kid, you go through fucking survivor guilt like you cannot even begin to imagine. It is like the Stockholm syndrome on steroids. It wasn't until my therapist finally pointed out, we were talking about me lighting this dude on fire. Because they'll say that I've never taken any accountability. They'll come in and say, we know what you did with your nephew, and we have the video that you did the video confession. Really? You have a video of me doing a video confession, so that would mean that I never fucking hid it. Because I don't hide from my sins. You know, I don't hide from my sins. Am I proud of it? Fuck no, I'm not proud of what happened when I was 13. If I could redo it, I sure as fuck would. But what they don't tell you is 13 years old, I was having a psychotic break because of all the shit that I was going through. Because they never talk about what preceded, what precipitated all the way up to that point. They don't tell you any of that. And so, my father's family owned Cassopolis, Michigan for a long time. That's the reason why with the Oakland 4, all of the stuff was starting to come out about Omaha, it was all starting to come out. And so all of a sudden, we had the Franklin 4. But my dad had a plane. We flew everywhere. You know, Cassopolis, yep. It's in Michigan. I've never been there. But Michigan is heavily involved in it. That's the reason why the Oakland 4, those 4 children who were ritually murdered and displayed ritually, they're known as the Oakland 4. That was a way to distract from Franklin and what was going on in Omaha, and it worked for about 10 years. Because the Oakland 4 was about 10 years before, because Franklin finally ended up coming out. Because what ends up happening, when you're walking around doing crimes, like it is in Harlan right now with my sheriff, you're walking around doing crimes, and people are talking about it. Cassopolis, that's how you spell it. That's how you spell it. Cassopolis. That's where my family, that's where my father's family is from. My Uncle Phil is the one who indoctrinated my father and my Uncle Jack into this bullshit. And so you end up, they just distract with as much shit as they possibly can. But when you're in a place where crimes are being committed and they're out there so much that people are just fucking talking about it on the streets, and then they're surprised when the shit comes out. You know, what happened in Omaha? Oh, dude, you need to definitely look up Franklin. You definitely need to look up Franklin. My book, Rabbit Hole, Confessions of an Antichrist, is on my blog, davidshurter.com. If you're wanting to know about Omaha, that's where I would start. And because you seem to be a very intelligent guy, I would suggest, even though I don't make a dime off of it, go read Confessions of an Antichrist. It's in the pages above. Or you can read Rabbit Hole, a satanic ritual abuse survivor story. That's the book that I published on Amazon. I got nominated for Book of the Year when I published it. I am a woman, a two-spirit woman. Cool. I like women. I personally believe that it's women who are going to end up saving, who are going to expose the situation. I think it's women, Native too, and that is even more powerful. Nothing more powerful than a Native American woman or a black woman. You know, when I was a kid, I used to wish that I was black and came from a black family. And the reason why is because I came from a rich white family, and my family, it's the whole reason why I say, for me, family is a 4-letter word. It's bad. If you were going to get your throat slit, your family was the ones that could slit it the best, the fastest, the most efficient. So I always wanted to be black, because what I knew was that black people had families. No matter with all the problems, black people had exactly what I always wanted. And my grandfather worked for Coca-Cola during the Great Depression. In fact, he was a graphic artist. The 7-Up logo, my grandfather Shurter, the one that they're still using with the bubbles and stuff, my grandfather did that. My grandfather Bannister, who was my mom's adopted father, also, Coca-Cola used to have these campaign where they had all of these older women, the Victorian women. It was a big campaign. My grandfather did a lot of those. It was just amazing, and ended up paying, in the Great Depression, he helped 9 families get through the Great Depression. And so my grandfather Bannister was like a hero. Only met him once because I was so young, and he had Alzheimer's before I only have one memory of him, and he has Alzheimer's, but I knew about him. And so I always wanted to have family. But Native American and the whole gay thing, if you look at shamanism and you look at Native Americans, the shamans and Native Americans were almost always gay. what makes a gay person different than a lot of people is that we think both as men and women. I'm a guy, I definitely think, but I grew up with women. And because I'm gay, I have that empathy that women have. I have always had that empathy. I can feel people's pain. But then I'm also an abuse survivor, and that is an abuse survivor usually is hypersensitive to the shit that's going on. And so I just think that it is the two spirit minds. We think both men and women. That's the reason why I don't like the gay lifestyle. I don't like the gay lifestyle at all. As a guy, I don't like the gay lifestyle or what it stands for. But being gay, that's what saved me. It's hard for me to be so against, being gay. I'm not a self-loathing gay guy because they were tearing down my ability to have even any identity as a kid because they wanted to brainwash me into this psychopath type identity, which didn't work. But being gay gave me an identity that people couldn't control. And you want to know what? Growing up gay in small town Iowa in the 80s was fucking hard. It was hard. And it made me strong. It made me strong. Dissociative trauma initiates spiritual awakening. Yeah, it does. Also, they drowned me over and over and over because near-death experiences also connect you to the other side. That's the reason why they drowned me constantly. They drowned me, murdered me, then revived me over and over and over and over again. But they were right. It connected me to the other side in a way that I wouldn't have been connected before. We are all one, unity consciousness. That's exactly what I believe. I am part Native American. True about empathy, David. My ex-cousin at David warned me that I was in trouble with my ex's family. Yeah. It's funny how when you start calling them out, how all the threats start. How all the threats and they try and close you down and, oh, you're crazy. You know, you can show the shit without a doubt. And, who did they use to revive you in the system? I never knew who any of them was. It wasn't Aquino. He was generally standing and watching people. Again, that's the reason why Jessie Sezzabar, when she starts talking, when we were kids, they didn't explain shit to us. They just did it. It took me a lot of years of therapy and a lot of years to try and process the shit, to figure out what was going on, to try and understand it. But they don't explain, they don't come in and say, hey, today we're going to drown you repeatedly because it's going to connect you to the other side. And this is what's going to happen. And I keep forgetting that gay means homosexual and not happy anymore. Yeah. I suspect I'm part Native too, but my family is racist and denies it. My dad was a white supremacist. I know all about racism. They were mad at me because I have friends who are black. Not that I have black friends, because it's not. The problem that they're having now is that there is such everyone is having sex with everyone else and having so many babies that it's hard to be racist like it used to be, because it's hard. Well, I hate you because you're 30% black, or you're 20% Native American, so I hate. It's hard because we're all starting to blend in. Everyone is starting to get mixed, and shit, I wish I had some ethnic. I would have a little bit more pigmentation in my skin. I certainly would not mind that. Plus, ultra gay. I was ultra gay for a long time. When I was a kid, I was very flamboyant. But the older I get, it takes a lot of energy to be ultra gay. To be flitty, it just takes Spiritual identity is not tied to physical race at all. It's not. What's up with women who want to make the transgender transformation thing and not get the full package, if you know what I mean? My view on this is unpopular because I do not understand the whole transsexual thing. I think that it is an agenda that is being pushed. I think that a lot of people are buying into it without having enough discernment to figure out what it's all about. I have a problem with the whole transgender thing when you look at the suicide rate of people who transition. Because after they transition, when everything is supposedly supposed to be great, they end up taking themselves out. And so it can't be all that. And as far as this whole notice how no transgender men are doing sports with guys. I don't see any transgender men competing with other men in sports. But the transgender women who are competing with other women, they trump those women every fucking time. And why? Because you can cut off or add whatever the fuck you want. Go and surgically put a goddamn horn on your fucking head. It doesn't make you a unicorn. You know, it doesn't make you a unicorn. When you're dead 100 years from now, if they dig up your body, they're gonna run your DNA and you ain't gonna like it because they ain't gonna, they're not gonna know what your personalities are. But they have us running on so exactly, your DNA is still XX or XY. You don't change that, you know? And I don't see how spending your entire life trying to be something you'll never be promotes happiness. I don't see. And the other thing about it is that I watched this dude who was transsexual, and he said when he was making the change, everyone was telling him how proud of him he was and he was so wonderful, and oh my God, he was such a wonderful representation. But then he found Jesus Christ and he felt like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. It's the same thing I did getting out of the gay lifestyle. I couldn't be in the gay lifestyle and say that I actually was serving God. It just didn't feel, I couldn't make the two sides mesh. So I had to choose one or the other. And that's what it is, you know? Israeli news is a good channel to follow. I'm so against what's happening in Israel right now. They're committing genocide. They're committing genocide. They can say why they're committing genocide. They can justify the genocide, whatever the fuck they want. But it's genocide. And it's wrong. It's wrong. Genocide has always been wrong. And I could talk to you whatever color you would like, David. You know, I'm a white dude. I'm opinionated. I can be a dickhead. I used to tell people, because they would ask me they would ask me because of what I went through if I had multiple personalities. And I would tell people, no, I just have one personality. And most people find that to be a dickhead, you know, because I can be a butthead. I'm opinionated and I am outspoken. What you see is what you get. I do not wear masks. Who I am now is who I am out and about, which is who I am, you know. I only speak pissed off sheep, not goat. Exactly. You know, exactly. So does Israeli News Live. Good, because I know that a lot of people, my background is Jewish. I am not Jewish, but my background is Jewish. And I have been watching Jewish people come forward who are It's like the Jews ended up encapsulating what Adolf Hitler was all about, and now they're just doing it to someone else. But it's the same thing. How is it right? You know, they do need to have their own special transgender athletics, and they need their own bathrooms. They need their own bathrooms. But knowing what I know about child trafficking, if you're sending your kid into the bathroom alone, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. You know, don't send your kids into public bathrooms by themselves. Ever. Don't let them run around in a store without you knowing where they are. You know, these days of sending your kids out to play and letting them come back when the lights come on, those are days past. If you want to say goodbye to your kid, go ahead and do it, you know? But parents need to learn how to be parents again, you know? Having kids, you're responsible for them. Flat out. And negating that responsibility isn't going to help them. 1980s, go play outside all day. We don't do any of that now. Shit, you can't even get your kids to go outside because they're so connected to the, God knows if we get hit with the Carrington event, society's going to break down. Can you imagine these younger kids not having their phones or their tablets or their technology? The Carrington event, I'm surprised we haven't gotten hit with one already. You know, but the satellites are starting to have problems because they're not used to being inundated. Yeah, sorry that's just it. Just keep little Johnny strapped. That's, I just wouldn't I wouldn't let my kids go into the bathroom, but I would be a bad parent. I would. I'm telling you right now, I'd be a bad parent because the world that I know that exists and have always known that it exists, if I had kids, they'd be fucking duct taped to my side. I would never let them. I would be such an overbearing parent. I'm overbearing with other people's kids. I had a friend of mine who had 4 kids, took me to the zoo that whole day. Afterwards, she told me, dude, I want you around all the time. And I said, why? And she said, because I've never had someone who kept watch over my kids as well as you did. But that's because I know how it works. It's not a bad parent. And the whole thing about it is not being, you know, well, I would be such an overbearing parent because I know how it works and I know how quick it works and how fast. And more than that, I know what happens afterwards. And we were just talking about survivor guilt. People who go through this, survivor guilt. My therapist told me all the time, tells me all the time, not so much now, but told me all the time that she had never had a client that had so much survivor guilt. But when you go through what we went through and you survive and so many didn't, that I would kick my kids' butt and they would know the truth about everything. They would know the truth about everything. They would. Because they have to now. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. And I hate to say this, but we live in an evil fucking world that's all full of evil people. Everyone is not evil, but the evil ones are making it hard on everyone else. That's why the darkness is here to claim the assets, because they'll never stop. You'll never be able to get them to stop. I don't think they have the ability to stop. And it's sad because, like yesterday, there's this dude that has constantly stared at me. And yesterday, I was coming out my house and didn't realize that they were right there. And we laid eyes on each other. And what I saw was that this dude, he has such a light inside of him and he's trying to kill it so he can fit in with these motherfuckers. Why would you kill your light to go join these ranks? Who wants to be a member of fucking Sewer Town? Who wants to be connected to Tara Joyce Randolph and Thomas Shoemaker? Which is not, I always call him Shoemaker because the dude who makes shoes, you know? I think that him, when we laid eyes on each other, and I mean, I looked him directly in the eye, his face contorted, and not in a bad way. It was almost like it was like he had actually gotten a breath of fresh air. The person that he was told that I was, he was looking straight at me and could see that I wasn't. And I haven't seen that, but then I don't watch a lot of television. Put me in the cult. Call him Cobbler. No, because then I would think of Apple Cobbler, you know? I refer to Thomas as the slime king. Because when you get around him, that's what you feel. You feel like you've just been slimed. But that's the way it is with all of them, you know? It's on YouTube. I'll go look it up, you know. The unfortunate thing is I wish that the chat stayed on. When these videos get posted, you don't see the chat. And I really do wish that the chat would stay up there. I've never listened to Thomas's music videos because I hear he steals the shit from other people. You know? It's all bullshit. All bullshit. And for being a famous composer, he lives in an apartment building that obviously doesn't have a balcony. Because that whole stupid thing that's on YouTube with him getting served papers by Gabe Hoffman, which is complete and utter bullshit. Again, it's called, you know, it's their little controlled opposition bullshit. He was sitting in a chair at a table in a area where the stairs were. So he doesn't have his own balcony. So for being such a famous composer, you know, he's living in an apartment that doesn't have a balcony. And I just, not that that makes any difference, but I'm not busy trying to be something that I'm not, you know? And their stories with all of this shit don't even make any sense. And I'm not as easy to kill as everyone else has been, obviously. I'm not so easy to kill. They ain't gonna show up. No one will believe that I killed myself if that should ever happen. And they shouldn't. Are you kidding? I'd have to go face God. No, that would never fucking happen. You know? 15-year-old girl survivor. No one has heard from her since her old interview from the 90s. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because you never hear from them. You know? You never hear from them. Oh, I'll be way worse on the other side. And they know I'll be way worse on the other side. Which is funny because they'll end up trying to, and again, we all face God. We all face God. So choose the shit that you're going to face your maker with. Because God is not an overindulgent parent to a certain point. But once you've crossed the point, it's no longer super indulgent. It's called wrath. We are told to do what we need to do. You know, if you have your heart filled with love, he's not expecting any of us to walk on water. We all fail. We all fail. It's whether or not you have the intent to try and succeed, the mindset that you want to succeed, that you want to fill your hearts with love. That's the important part about it. It's, you know, it's the intent. And I don't think that they're afraid that I'm on the other side because they're trying to get me to drop over dead with their shit. Their shit is so bad right now, I cannot even begin to tell you. It is to the point where I'm almost starting to feel nauseous all over again. But because of my training, I can compartmentalize it and put it. It still has an effect, but I can compartmentalize it so it's not my whole effect. You know, I've had a literal dead experience. My entire life flashed before my eyes and crossed over to the timeless place. Yes, because on the other side, everything is the way it is. That's the reason why none of this is real. We're in a spiritual matrix. Nothing lasts on this side. I can't survive it. I can't survive it. When this all first started and I would get into this, I would tell people, oh, they're about to kill me. They're about to kill me. I don't do that anymore. Because obviously I have survived so much of their shit. I don't know that they're about ready to kill me. God is letting me suffer. But I think that my suffering for some reason is important. And whether, even though I don't understand why, and I really don't like it, I still have to accept that God wouldn't have me here if it wasn't necessary. And I will do what God needs me to do. You know, I will do what God needs me to do. And I will do it continuously. We will get to know why soon enough. That's what I find with people. My phone is ringing, but I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to end this. I'm going to finish. With God, for me, it's a need to know basis. It's always a need to know basis. I get told to do things and don't even know why I'm doing them. And then when I find out, God never let me figure out that I was moving to Erling, but Erling was, their claim to fame was, yeah, it is peanuts. I like peanuts. I love that song. I just like the music. But God tells me, just like telling me that I needed to start talking about Isaac Cappy and open up. Yeah, Vincent Gardelli is just, I love the Peanuts music. I just do. But then I like Peanuts because it was a group of kids that were all friends. And I never had that as a kid. And so it's something that I have that I just found. Yeah, it's minus and Lucy. And it's a person who really, they call over and over and over. So it's going to happen for a while. And then I'll just call back and I'll go. Sorry that you have to listen to my phone thing, but at least it's interesting, you know? It was just like, had I known when I was told to start talking about Isaac Cappy and opening up comments, if I knew what I was in store for, I wouldn't have done it. Had I known the chaos that I was going to draw to myself, yeah, but in order to do that, then I have to frick with my phone, and I'm not doing that because I'm at an hour and 37 minutes. So this is I'm gonna close up because I only like to do 2 hours my max for these things because people don't want to listen to them for hours upon hours. Even though I do find that a lot of people will listen to my stuff and listen all the way through. It's just remarkable. Yeah, awesome how the trolls don't even try anymore. Well, they realize now that I can block them. Now that I know how to block them, I don't even play anymore. And I have no problems blocking people. No problems. I'm not fighting. I'm not having them take over the conversation and have to fight with something that happened, 48 years ago? I'm not doing it. When I was a kid, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna constantly rehash that shit because they want to control the conversation. I'm not doing that. And it bothered me when they were in here because it was bothering other people because you guys actually like to talk with yourselves. Because I know a bunch of you are reading this conversation because you're answering each other. I love that because I learned so much. That's, but the Nazis that I grew up with just, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, I tried to help people. I just don't see where it benefits anybody telling you a bunch of bullshit so that because it's not about me. It's never been about me. That's the reason why they have an issue with me, because they always want to make it about me, but it's not about me. It's about the situation and the stuff that's going on, you know? And I do read some of the comments because it doesn't, when I do the videos, you don't see them, you know? You don't see them. And I just, I want people to know that people are talking in here, and some of the stuff that you guys say is just too important not to read out loud so that people can actually hear what's being said. And it helps me. I appreciate it too, because they realize I'm not the only person in here who knows stuff and who's doing and who's trying to make a difference. You know, there are a lot of you in here that I would be willing to bet have wanted to make a difference for a long time. You just didn't know how. And I'm searching around in the dark. I'm feeling around. I don't have a plan generally. I'm just trying to figure this out as I go. And it's nice to have people who, the anti-pedophile squad, exactly. You know, if you ain't anti-pedophile, I don't want to know you. That's just how it works. You know, if you're not anti-pedophile, I don't even want to know you. I don't want to. The fact that they're making kids who get raped have babies. I'm not all for abortion. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not all for a 12-year-old being forced to have a child, or women whose child has died in their stomach and it has to almost cause death before anyone will help that woman. I think it's mean. I think it's cruel. You know? And I donate to the battered women's shelter. They have homeless kids that come in there all the time. I bring food and toys and whatever I can do. That's all and that's, dude, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to love God. We're supposed to love everyone else. We're supposed to help those in need, you know? And kids who are living in homeless shelters, they're definitely in need. You know, you want to feel better about yourself when you're depressed? Go help someone who has worse than you are. Trust me, in the end, you'll feel better about yourself because there's always someone out there who has it worse than you do. And Government Corp Watch, they don't like your comments. They don't, you know? My channel is not about me. The info, that's just it. They're starting to make us global. Citizens called UN. Government Corp Watch. Give me your blog so I can just read it out. National since 1947, Parents Treaty since, because they're all bad. You know, they're all involved in this Agenda 21. The rich want to kill off a bunch of us and enslave the rest. And Project 21 or Agenda 21, they know. Oh, I just got reconnected. I wonder how long I was out. And Government Court Watch, you can put out your blog. I think this message is held for review. Because some of them, if you come at me, there are certain words that it won't come up. That's his blog. National since 1947. I think anything that you can use to expose these assholes, do it. Do it. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. They're trying to take me out. Shit, the other night, I thought they had succeeded. When I got up, I almost passed out, taking a piss. I thought I was, because what they were doing was making me sick. And I thought it was over. I don't say that because there have been so many times, like I said, I thought it was over, but here I am still. You know, God will take me when God wants me. And I don't think it'll happen before that. And so I just, Government Corp Watch, I know you have my email. Send me your blog because I will put your blog, I'll put your link on my blog. I'm willing, if you're real, I am so willing to connect to people who are real. It's just if you're a bullshit artist trying to run fucking people down dumbass rabbit holes that don't even make any sense, I won't help. You know? And I'm gonna have to pray here soon because this person will never stop. You know? I have friends who, when they're determined to get a hold of me, they're determined to get a hold of me. And that's just it. I will survive. God has me here for whatever reason. God has me here for whatever reason. And also realize that some of your emails don't get through. Because I get emails from you guys who say, did you get my last email? And I didn't get your last email. So I don't know what the hell's happening. They are on top of me. They are on top of me. And, but I just think that it's not about me. It's about us. And it's about the kids. And more than that, it's about God. It's about our Father and the Word and serving the Word, which is love. That's what it's all about. As far as I'm concerned, that's what, you know, yeah, but I get some of your emails and then some emails I don't. That's what I don't understand. You know, Discord may be a reasonable option. Yeah, Discord is coming. People are not happy. Not happy. And more than that, you ain't gonna enslave us either. I just don't see how you think you're... Yes, there are a group of people who are dumbasses. But you start loading people into trains to take them to camps, I think that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to oppose that. And it won't make any difference who they're trying to load into those trains. They won't care. You know? I think that humanity still has its grasp on humanity. I think we care. I think the majority of us do care. We just need to remind each other that there's more of us than there are of them, and we're more resilient than they are. See, Government Corp Watch. I can tell that you're younger than I am, because I've never been into video games. Discord has a condition in their EULA that we lose our legal rights after 30D. Exactly like Fortnite and other games. An opt-out letter is required to reserve legal rights in Discord. And even then, go ahead, write all your legal letters. And then they'll just say, we didn't get it. We don't even know what you're talking about. You're screwed. You know? Slave rights. Yeah. And they want to enslave us. In fact, they pretty much enslaved us already. How many of you are working jobs and can't make it? I'm on fucking disability and can't make it. You know? My disability check now is $900 a month. I have no idea. I do have people who have donated, and I just sold a bag. I'm not going to say who did it, but I can't wait for them to get it because I'm hoping for the proper oohs and ahs. But if you don't like it, tell me, you know? But it's crazy how software EULAs are being used against us now. I'm just concerned about our kids being railroaded out of their legal rights. Yes! Because it's about the kids. They ain't going to take it from us, because especially with boomers. Boomers are an entitled group. But our kids are growing up. They're the first generation that's growing up with no hope. They have no hope. They're not going to get a good job that they're going to work forever. They can barely afford rent, let alone food, let alone putting money down on a house. You know, they're the ones who grew up without any hope, and people with no hope are easy to control. Desperate people are easier to control. So they're going to try and keep us desperate. But I think that heaven is interceding. I think that things are not going as they planned. In fact, I know they're not going as planned. Because those camps were already supposed to be up and running by 2015. It was supposed to be, after they all did what they did with 9/11 and stuff, we were supposed to go right into a fascist takeover. And now they're struggling to get the ground back that they've already lost because heaven pulled the rug out from underneath them. And Ironically, my channel was getting 100% Democratic of 65-year-olds. I had to do something to aim it at kids. My latest episode is aimed at the young ones. It's about gaming, but has a few nuggets. My boomer dad has been abusive verbally, so I get the millennial swag. Yeah, it's amazing how fucking predators are so abusive. It's like it's in their genes. They know how to do it, you know? And it is about the kids. They need to be woke up. They need to be given some hope. That's what they need, is some hope. But I think this is all over anyway. The sun, oh my God, it's like a zillion degrees here. It's only a matter of time before things start to catch on fire again, if they're not already on fire. And we need to reach the younger generation. Yeah, we do. Because they're caught up in a bunch of weird I don't understand why TikTok was such a threat. I mean, it's entertaining, but there's nothing but stupid shit on there. It's funny. It's entertaining. I guess it's my algorithm. I get a lot of pet things and funny videos about animals and stuff. Because I only use TikTok. They don't like my videos because I'm way too serious. And my garden is dying because I can't afford the water. I can't afford the water. I am watering my 3 tomato plants and my 3 pepper plants. But for the most part, oh, it is definitely dumbing people. Critical reasoning is not even taught anymore. People do not know. And to practice discernment, you need critical reasoning skills. You need to be able to figure it out. I water in evening so it can soak in overnight. That's a pretty good idea. But again, I can't afford. Shit, I can't. Now I'm down to $900 a month. Last month, thanks to you guys, I survived. Because my check last month, after they took out what they did for those Medicaid things, was $555. How the fuck is anyone supposed to live on $555 for a month? And now it's $900, you know? So for those of you who want to donate, PayPal and Venmo is Shurter. I love, but because I need the cash, but don't think that that's what I'm looking for, because even for those of you who can't afford it, which I couldn't afford to help people out, I know exactly what it's like. And yet your conversation and the things that you guys share in here are invaluable to me. And I think it's invaluable to a lot of people. And so Chinese TikTok teaches weapons cleaning and stripping. Yeah, it's amazing how different it is, you know? I get a lot of cooking videos, but then I love cooking videos. So it's probably the stuff that I've liked. And I like people who, you know, I like gay guys that actually talk the truth about the gay lifestyle, who aren't all involved in the whole hype that, you know, and so I just think that we end up helping a lot. I use a lot of mulch. I have mulched a lot because it does help keep things. I have to mulch. And especially with it, because it doesn't rain. It might rain today. It was clouding over, but now the clouds seem to have gone away. And so I should pray, because if I don't call my friend back, they're just going to keep calling. See, I don't know how to knit or crochet, but I love, you know, the thing about it is that what I know about a lot of gay people, especially now, is that we don't buy into the hype because we know what the gay lifestyle is like. And straight people have a completely different perception of the gay lifestyle than gay guys who grew up in the lifestyle. And I'm just talking about as a gay guy because I'm not a lesbian, even though I do have friends who are lesbian. But yeah, I'm a vinyl record store in Philly back in 2000 in the gayest part of Gay Town. I love those areas. You guys gay areas always have the coolest shit for sale. It was fun, but I saw all sides of the gay lifestyle and gay without the style. And that's just it, you know? Just because we're gay and see, I'm gonna do I'm gonna end up making stuff. I planned on making sewing this week, but the shit is making me sick. It's still making me sick. I'm still nauseous. I'm and dizzy, and I wasn't before, but they don't like me doing these live videos, and so and don't think that I find you guys worthwhile just because you donate. I find you worthwhile whether or not you donate or not. I'm more interested in you hearing what I have to say about the word and then going and living it as best as you can. That's the big thing. Because we're all having problems. I'm not the only one in this boat. You know, I'm not the only one in this boat. And I realize that there are a lot of us who are struggling, severely struggling. I understand that. And this has never been about money for me, ever. I wouldn't be giving Confessions of an Antichrist away, and I did. Since I've written it, I've given it away for free. My blog is for free. None of my shit is monetized. None of my YouTube videos are monetized. None of my TikTok things are monetized. Nothing is monetized because I'm not going to demand money for the information that I have, because the information that I have, if I took money for it, what's the difference? How is that not taking blood money? You know? The shit that I know just needs to be disseminated freely. It's never been about money. I'm hurting like everyone else, and so I'm going to ask for help. And those of you can help. There are several of you who have helped, and thank you. I'm so grateful. But there are those of you who can't help, who can't financially help. Well, shit. Then listen to what I have to say and go give freely of your time and energy to someone who needs it. You know? I buy all my clothes. I found Goodwill shoes today, $5.99, and they're nice. All of my clothes are bought at Goodwill and thrift stores. I don't even go into. I am not giving you $40 to $100+ for a shirt when I can go in and buy a shirt that is just fine for $3.99 at Goodwill, and that's if I can't get it half price off, because they have half price stuff all the time. $7.99. Just bought a pair of jeans a couple months ago. Abercrombie and Finch, $7.99 at Goodwill. I buy all of my shit at Goodwill and thrift stores. I think it's just the better way to go. It makes more sense. You know? I have a hard time feeding myself. So therefore, I ain't spending all this money on clothes, the stuff that they want. You see this shit and then the designer clothes. People that are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars for stuff that I wouldn't even buy in Goodwill, let alone for thousands upon thousands of dollars. I had my first cabinet shop in my mom's garage when I was 18. I built furniture working with my gay decorators and their clients. Better money, yeah? Because who has the most disposable income but gay guys? We usually don't have kids. We generally have good jobs. I don't, but a lot of them do. And then there's a lot of money to spend. I can feel you're a great man of integrity. I try to be authentic. And I know that when I take my last breath, I'm facing my maker. And I am not going in front of God having all of this bullshit that I have to explain, because I don't think God wants to hear our excuses. I don't think that's the way it works. And so I don't want to have to make a bunch of excuses. I want to live the life that I'm supposed to lead, so then I can say, I failed, but I tried. Over and over and over, I kept trying. Because I figure for God, that's the important part. You fall, you pick yourself back up, you learn, and you just try not to do it again. If you're following the 2 commandments that Jesus Christ gave us, love God, life, the word, and love everyone else, the 10 commandments are a no-brainer. But God does laugh with us. God is with me the whole time. And God listens to me yell, because I yell a lot. I'm a bitch. The other day when I was laying in bed and I was nauseous, and it felt like they were taking an ice pick and shoving it into my brain. It hurt so bad. And I was yelling at God. I was all irritated. Just take me already. But that's not the plan. And you want to know why God won't take me? Because no matter what happens, I'm still going to do what I'm doing. So God obviously wants me to keep doing what I'm doing and knows no matter what the hell happens, I'm going to continue doing it just to spite the fucking pedophiles. You know? That's just it. If I live another 20 years under this, I'll do it. Because if it fucking spites them, good. Good. You know? He does catch our tears. You know? That's what made me feel better, is that I laid in the bathtub yesterday, I think it was, and just sobbed. Because this is hard. It is not pleasant. And it is important. No excuses, sir, madam, as we say in West Point cadets. Exactly. Keep going. There is no do or not do. There's just do it. Figure out a way and keep doing the right thing. Even though it will end up, it's probably going to end up decimating me. You know, my life is, whenever everyone asks me how I am, I tell them I'm living the dream. I don't know whose dream it is. It certainly isn't mine, because I ain't having much fun. But I'm living the dream, you know? Right. When we have his heart for others, he is with us, closer than a brother. Because we're supposed to be here for each other. That's the reason why I come in and do these things. That's why I love these live videos. Because I feel like some of you come away from this feeling better than what you did when you came in. You feel a little bit more empowered, you know, and we all need that. And I just think that daily meditation has helped me with that sensation, even 15 minutes. Like, right, that's what my journeying is. I listen to a beating of a drum and I go pray and go inside and focus on God and let my mind open up to whatever God wants to show me. And it works wonders. It is just like God said, seek me and you will find me. And knowing oneself, that's what Jesus Christ said was the most important thing for us to do in this life. Know thyself. Because if you don't know yourself, you'll fall for anything. They can take you down any rabbit hole they want, you know, and they will. Gnosis is not a good word for me, only because gnosis is really important to the Luciferians, because they feel that perfect gnosis comes through every manner of sin. And every manner of sin, greater and greater sin, ain't going to do you much good when you face God, you know? There are some people, cognitive, who are not who they say they are. And unfortunately, the jig is up with some people. And if I have issues with a person, I bring those issues up to the person. I don't play games. If I have issues with you and you hear from someone that I have issues with you, it's only because I'm trying to calm myself down before I come to you and tell you my issues. Because sometimes I have to talk it out to calm myself down. But, you know, letting go into the unknown is the only way. Not to get over more. Right. Stop wanting. That's the whole thing. Magic with a K is apparently the dark stuff. Yes. God works magic in all of us. The thing about it is whether or not, if you do stuff and you think it comes from you, that's bad. Because it feeds your ego. And the ego it makes you think that you're more than what you are, because our souls aren't even ours. They're our Father's. The things you can do
isn't even yours. It comes, our lives, our very life essence comes from God. And so, I'm thankful for our eggs in our garden. If I could have chickens, I don't have a place big enough for chickens. And my dogs wouldn't be after it would be a mess. I would love that. I don't have enough room to plant. I have two raised gardens that I built that have 3 buckets apiece in them. And Shadow was trying to connect with me. Glad I resisted. Discernment helped, I think. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Discernment is a big thing. All I'm going to say, cognitive, is when I talk about jewels, you'll know who I'm speaking about. Because that's who I am speaking about. You know? If you don't want to get called out, don't play games with me. It's a simple solution. But if you play games with me and I figure it the fuck out, I'm going to call your ass out every time. That's how it's going to work. I'm going to call your ass out because that's how I work. And I don't like liars. I don't like liars. I don't like game players. I don't like people who will go out of their way to hurt people and then try to negate any responsibility for that. I think it sucks. And yeah, I think the original Gnostics worked with Jesus and knew the truth of who he was. I think that Jesus Christ was Gnostic. I think he was a shaman, you know? And as crazy as this is, I have not totally erased the idea that Jesus Christ could have another side to him that was just as nice. But everyone who gets into this, shamans generally, the people who are closest with the shamanism stuff, are gay. We have that two-sided brain thing. A man who had so much humility, so much faith, was able to epitomize living the word. I just wonder. He hung out with 12 guys. If you had some dude now who only hung out with 12 guys, what would you think? You know? And I don't think it's the sin that everyone has it out to be. You know? The lifestyle sucks, but by making me gay in this life, God saved me. Now, I lost a lot of things, and I don't think that I would have been gay. I think my oldest sister is right. Had I not gone through the abuse that I went through, I probably would have ended up married with kids. And it would have been a lifestyle that I so would have loved. I would have loved. But that's not, he was asexual. Exactly. That's what I think. I don't think Jesus Christ was sexual at all. I don't think he was interested in sex. Since I have been celibate since my divorce, which is now, 13, 14 years, I don't think about, when I see people, I don't think, ooh, I want to get with them. It doesn't even come to my head, you know, because I do my best to try and fill myself with the Holy Spirit. What would God want me to do, you know? What would Jesus Christ want me to do? And that's the whole thing. I just think that he was asexual, but I think that Jesus Christ had a lot of respect for women. He wouldn't have helped Mary Magdalene the way he did if he didn't. Just saying, you know? It's because people are so misaligned sexually. That's just it. And I will be the first person to admit that when it comes to the issue of gay, I'm confused. I'm not a good person to talk to because I hem and haw and you know, I don't know how I feel about it, but I will tell you how I live is that I'm not even willing to take the chance. I don't want to be in another relationship, and because I never want to be in another relationship, I did that for 20 years, didn't like it. then I'm certainly not going to have a one night stand. And so that's just me. And I'm just not willing to take the chance. And 12 is a family. That's just it. Jesus Christ had all of the two commandments that he gave us solidified the word. We know who needs one night stands. Amen to that. You know, you exchange energy and you don't even know who these people are. So when you're getting freaky with these people, you're exchanging energy with these people and you don't even know what energy you're getting in return. And people, when I was sexually promiscuous, and because I was an abuse survivor, my life was a mess. You know, I was not happy. And once I stopped and I actually brought myself to where I needed to be, my life suddenly became more clear. And I became more clear. And when you have sex, I'm glad you agree, Government Corp Watch, because when you are having sex with people and you don't even know who they are, you're taking on their energy. You don't know who they are. And then it adopts, and words are important. Words are very important. That's around here. What I'm facing is all these people. There's a lot of people around here who are super Christian. And they're pissed off at me because I'm going after my sheriff. But dude, you shouldn't have fucking protected child killers. You shouldn't have lied about that gas station. And you sure as fuck, as a sheriff, shouldn't be running a fucking drug operation. You shouldn't be doing that. That's just my opinion, but that's how I feel. And if you don't want someone to come along and expose your shit, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that shit. That's the reason why when they say, oh, they're all afraid of being investigated, but the thing about it is that when you have sex with people, everything is about energy. It's all about energy. It is all about energy. And that's not new age bullshit. It isn't. Science will tell you that it's energy. And it's focusing of that energy. And it's not, if you're getting into rocks and crystals and all kinds of weird, tarot cards and shit like that, yeah, that's what I look at. That's the bullshit stuff. But to actually realize that your words have energy and what you say puts energy out there, that's true. Your words, your actions, your intent it's all about that. It's all about that. That's the reason why, like these super Christians out here that are pissed off at me, they're all super Christian, and yet they'll bear false witness every goddamn day because the gossip around here just never stops, And words have the same physical materiality as actual physical things. Yeah, exactly. You can speak things and have them manifest. So obviously words matter, And if you're busy talking shit about people, yeah, things have energy. As it is, it's 2:13. I've been on here for 2 hours and 13 minutes. But what the hell? Had a crazy electrical energy with my ex, almost addictive sexually, but he was violent, dangerous, controlling, and evil. Because the dark side is very enticing. And it's not enticing in a way that you actually like that stuff, but it's hard to escape it once you get caught up in it. Because people who are like that, that's what I say, the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, what they are black holes that suck any light or joy or good out of a situation And, okay, well, if Mark Passio was appointed by Anton LaVey, then I don't even really care about what Mark Passio has to say. I mean, I haven't looked him up yet, but that's like saying, oh, well, Mark Passio was appointed by Michael Aquino. Anton LaVey, the only reason why Anton LaVey and Michael Aquino broke away is because Anton LaVey, it was all a social thing. He didn't believe in any of the bullshit. It was just a social experiment. Where Michael Aquino was a fucking Luciferian. He believed in the Antichrist. Let me tell you, he believed in the Antichrist. And but Mark Passio turned, and there are people who are able to turn. It's just I need to research him a bit more so I can use my own discernment. I'll do that. I just haven't done it yet. There's been so much on my plate right now. It's just hard to keep up. He's brilliant for that reason. Yeah, because if they know and they turn, it's amazing. Because we know the shit. If you have someone who's gone through all of this bullshit, who actually turns and then starts telling you the truth, there's no other grade. That's the reason why I feel obligated to do what I'm doing. I feel obligated because I know in a way that most people don't. And so I am obligated to be here to tell people what is going on and how I see it. And again, use your discernment. I'm not a cult leader. I don't want you to just take what I have to say and run with it. Think about it, explore it, research it, and then come to your own conclusions. Just know that I'm not leading you down a primrose path. Trust me, it ain't no fucking primrose path. You come down the same path I'm getting to you, it's going to be hell. I'm just warning you now. Following God, you go straight through hell to do it. When Mark rants about the blind, he just says, you're just dumb, son. Yeah, that's how I feel. They're not blind, they're ignorant. They choose it. They don't see because they choose not to see. And what can you do with someone who wants to be ignorant? See, I think we all work on our own salvation. And I won't know that I did the right thing. I won't be sure that I was okay and did the right thing until I'm in front of my Father and I'm getting judged. Then I'll know if I did the right thing. I've tried. God knows I have tried. Babe, I am constantly seeking salvation because I'm just afraid that I'll be self-assured, oh, I'm going to be saved. And then I'll be one of those people who are just like, well, dude, you're a dumbass. Why would you feel you're being saved? All these people who think they're going to be raptured and go to heaven. And unfortunately, all the people that they tell that to are thinking, well, then I don't want to go to heaven, because if heaven is filled with people like that, I don't want to go to heaven. And that's how it kind of works. And I'll go wherever God needs me. And that means, in the end, if I have to go into the dark and do what God needs me to do in the dark, I will be going into the dark without question. I will do whatever God asks me to do. That's how it works with me, And I might bitch a lot, but I don't usually ask any questions. Just focus on being a good person. That's all you can do. Love the word, love everyone else. If you're focused on those two things, everything else falls into place. And yeah, you stumble and you fall. I've stumbled, I've fallen. You just have to keep going. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep going. Knowing that there are going to be people who are going to go out of their way to try and trip your ass up. Because they're not doing it, and they want to feel okay with not doing it. They want to feel powerful with their stupid shit. And I guess I just find more power in being a servant to God. I find a lot of, I'm not in control, I'm not in charge, I just serve, and I'm okay with that. And I wouldn't want to be in charge even if it was offered, you know? But with that, it's 2:20. I got to get off here. I got to call my friend back. I don't think I went to bed. It's 7:45. It's not unheard of for me to go to bed by now. Father, I come to you. I thank you so much for this session. It has just been a really good exchange. Every time I come on here, I learn more. And I just feel that the fact that when we're able to have a place where we can support each other and talk about you and reinforce what we're supposed to be doing, I just think it helps all of us. And I'm really grateful that you have given me the opportunity to be able to do this. And I know we're all struggling and we're all looking for our way. I just shine the light on all of our paths and help us serve you better and glorify the word and promote the word, which is love, to who we can, because we plant seeds and we don't know where those seeds are going to take sprout, but that's not for us to know. And often we plant the seeds for trees that we will never get to appreciate the shade from those trees. It's for others because we serve you, and that's what ends up happening. I know that I just appreciate everything. Please stave off their attacks. What they're doing to me right now is making me feel sick all over again. You know, I'm having a hard time thinking, and that's a difficult thing for me. They want to bring me down. And if they do bring me down, God, please let other people be inspired to keep going. Don't let it end with me. God, don't let it end with me. So I say these things in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. So I'm going to get off here because I got to go call my friend. I'm also starving. And they can pump their shit at me all they want. But I'm just going to keep living my life. What else can I do? You know, thank you for everyone. Thank you guys for coming in here. I appreciate you guys way more than you know. There are times that I come on here and do these live sessions when I have so little hope. And after I leave here, I feel empowered again, energized again. And that's just really important to me because I'm having a hard time. I feel very alone in this. When I come in here, not so much. But, you know, yesterday I went to Omaha and the whole situation with, I just started really missing Owen. And it ended up being a bad time. I went to an icky Chinese buffet that Owen used to take me to all the time. I hated it. I still hated it. It was the grossest food I've eaten in a long time. But I went there just because I felt like it was like having a little piece of Owen there. And Owen wasn't gay. We were brother-in-laws for years. I considered him my brother-in-law. And I'm just, yeah, right now Jesus is carrying me. I don't even see my footprints because right now I'm having to be carried because I'm just so tired. I hate tuna. I'll never eat tuna. But man, making Brussels sprouts, putting some butter and Parmesan cheese and then bacon, slicing the Brussels sprouts in half and then putting them on that cheese and then baking them so that Parmesan cheese gets crispy on the one side of the Brussels sprouts. Oh my God, I love vegetables. I'm just a big vegetable. I've always been a vegetable fan. I like fruits and I like vegetables. The only vegetable I really don't like is artichoke. Never really got a taste for artichoke. And I can't stand mushrooms, but I don't think mushrooms, that's a fungus. I don't put fungus in my mouth. Wow. My mom didn't like mushrooms either, though. Now I'm talking about food. it is my cue to get off here. But thank you guys. I really needed this. I'm gonna go cook. I'm just begging you guys, if they end up making me drop over dead, they're trying their damnedest. They're trying to take me out. Please just don't let this go. Don't let what happened to Isaac Cappy happen to me. Because what they did to Isaac, it took 4 years for me to point out the shit, and then don't let it go. Kids deserve so much more. You know, they deserve, we do this for them. And so that's the thing that I worry about, that and my animals. If something happens to me, I just worry a lot about my dogs and Lucy, who's my ball python. But if something happens to me, well, if something happens to me, basically they can kiss their ass. Because if I go to the other side, they're fucked. They're fucked. Because I will bring the wrath of heaven down myself. And so I just don't let it go. I don't want to be another Isaac Cappy. But then again, I didn't hang out. Being introduced to all of the Sewertown people and Corey Daniel and Geo Farnsworth and all these people that were supposed to be Isaac Cappy's friends, that dude had the worst fucking taste in friends. That's all I'm saying. That they were all criminals. You know? Why would you hang with a group of people like that? I would do my best to try and get away from them as quickly as I could. And they were Isaac's friends. It just, I've looked at Isaac differently since I've gotten involved with exposing his stuff in the last 8 or 9 months. Is that it's just, had I known at the time when Isaac was alive, I would have had a fit with him. But I didn't know. Because we never talked about his friends. We never talked about his Rambalamba Doodah, whatever fuck group that fucking is. I don't even fucking know what it is. You know? The ones who are trying to convince you that it was Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey on that bridge with Isaac Cappy. That's why he went over. Because Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey did it. You know? And Hunter Biden. You know? They have you focused on so many things. Not saying that those people aren't bad. I'm saying that those people aren't bad. But come on, you know? Just because someone is bad doesn't mean another person isn't bad. It doesn't work that way. You know? That's what they're doing with this election. Oh, Trump is bad, so you have to be on Biden's group. Oh, Biden is bad. Like I said, I would get another phone call. Biden is bad, so that means Trump is good. No, that doesn't mean any of it. Biden is bad, Trump is bad. All the people behind Biden, like the Clintons, are bad. All the people behind Trump are bad. They're both bad, you know? And they want power. That's what they want. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about your kids. They want to be rich. They want to be powerful. And they all want to be in charge. Right. They should name the candidates CIA handlers on the voter ballot with the candidates. Exactly. Because it's all being run by the CIA, which is nothing but the devil's organization. The CIA is the worst. They're the ones who are behind all the shit I went through as a kid. They're all the shit. It's CIA that fucking hired a bunch of meth heads that are making my life hell. You know? And they keep thinking I'm going to be dead because the dumbass keeps coming outside that's involved with this. What is it with these idiots who have these they have these huge ass headphones on all the time. I can barely have the little things in my ears. Those big ass headphones that you used to be stuck to all the time in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, that's what they wear. Because he comes outside all the time with that dumbass headset on his head, looking at my house, and I can see he's wondering if I'm still alive or not. You know? That's what they fucking do. And and that isn't the same one that walked past me yesterday that I laid eyes on. That guy's in his 20s. And there's light inside of him, and he's trying to kill that light off so he can be involved in their group. And that is one of the biggest crimes I've ever seen. Why would you hide your light under a bushel so you can go be with a bunch of people who like and protect child killers? Why would you do that? You know? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But with that said, rant, I am. I'm ranting right at the end, you know? Hannah Jinx. I have to get off here because they'll never stop calling. They want to wake me up. They think I'm in bed and they're just going to keep calling thinking they're going to wake me up. And I will eat something and I will take care. I'll try to do these. I'm doing little videos every day so people know that I'm still up and about. But if those videos stop, it means something's wrong. If I stop doing live videos, it means something's wrong. And if something's wrong, just keep going. Just keep going, because it's never been about me. It's not about me. It's not my movement. I'm just part of God's army, as all of you are. So just keep going, regardless of what happens to me. You know, if you guys can donate, great, you know, because I'm desperate. It's just, but then so many other people. If you can't, that's fine too. Just keep going. Focus on the word and love all you can and love all those around you, all you can. And do as much as you can to bring light into the world. And with that said, I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.